Good Sunday morning. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are tracking some rain moving into the Houston area currently right now. I know in downtown, not really seeing rain all that much, but we are seeing those gray skies and those clouds building in, especially as those downpours move south of the spring area. So looking at the radar right now, you're able to see just widespread rain. There's no lightning associated with this rainfall. It's just the nuisance rain that's going to cause some slick roadways and some possible ponding on roadways. But as we get a closer look of seeing the areas that are receiving the rain right now, it's looking like the entire north side of town looking completely encompassed by widespread showers and some moderate rainfall moving in. And this is all moving further south, so all of Houston's going to be impacted by these showers as we progress through the rest of the early afternoon hours. We're not seeing any flood concerns. I think for the most part the rainfall rates have not been too significant currently within the past few hours. This is moving a little bit fast, and the reason that's good news because it's not really increasing that flooding risk, but we are also tracking some more downpours that are happening just along the coastal areas, especially in and around the Galveston area. So Galveston looking at a downpour that just moved through just about a while ago, but it's just this heavy rainfall that's moving further south, and that's going to be the case for as far as the rest of our Sunday. It's just going to be a rainy Sunday afternoon going into the next few hours. I'm going to go ahead and look at our future track model. Our future track weather model was not performing well this morning. I have to give y'all some insight on that, and it's still not performing well. It's not even taking into account what the rain is currently that's there, and so we're not expecting. I don't think these short-term models today have not been performing well. And but the good news, though, I still did warn that we were still going to see some rain earlier during the newscast, and that's what we're currently seeing now as we progress into the early afternoon hours. So if you look across Texas, they're looking at some more of that widespread rainfall, especially west of the Houston area. So let's say you're heading back to San Antonio, or maybe you're heading to San Antonio. We have a rather wet outlook along I-10 towards San Antonio. There were some flood advisories in place for portions of in the Texas Hill Country. I don't think those have expired, but we're just looking at this widespread rainfall that's currently happening here across the southern half of the state. And so we're seeing that rainfall moving southward into the city of Houston, and it's going to be quite a messy afternoon, especially as we progress through the next maybe a few hours. I'm going to go ahead and look to see what rain accumulations have occurred within the past 6 hours, and it's looking likely that as we look at the 6-hour rainfall total accumulation, it's not really looking too significant. I think we're seeing close to, I'm going to go ahead and plot these points here so we can see what's been going on just to the north of town to see what we're in for the center of Houston. But looking right now, so along the Grand Parkway, we've gotten up to 2.5 inches of rain for our northern portions of the county, but I think that is a little bit borderline in terms of possible ponding and the sort of getting into the realm of might start seeing some of those big puddles over the roadways, up to 1.5 to 2 inches of rainfall, especially for the north and west of town. I'm going to go ahead and look to see further north into the spring area. We've seen close to 2.5 inches of rain. I think that's the most that we've seen with this rainfall that has occurred as it was north of Harris County. And so looking right now, I think that we very well could see some ponding on roadways within the next few hours here across Houston, especially as these downpours continue moving further south. They are fast moving. I think the most that we've seen, about 1/10 of an inch an hour. I think most of that we've seen is close to 2.5 inches of rainfall. It's when we start getting into the 3 to 4 inch range is when we start looking at that flooded roadway threat. And so right now, I think for the most part, rain is rather moderate, not as heavy. But as we progress through the afternoon, let's just hope that these showers don't slow down as it makes its way closer to the coast, because if they do slow down, that really does start increasing that flooding threat for us here across southeast Texas, especially for the Houston area, a very highly populated area. We have a lot of concrete surfaces here, and that really does provide some possible minor flooding concerns as we progress through the afternoon. So we just hope that these just continue moving south as fast as they're moving. We were seeing these north of the Houston area, north of Spring and in the Montgomery County, Of course, it's not raining there anymore, as most of that rain has pushed south into the city of Houston. So we just hope that it moves as fast as the way it was moving just in our northern areas. But we are just expecting more of our roadways to be impacted by this heavy rain as we progress the next maybe 30 minutes to an hour. It's now looking like the entire city is about to be seeing rainy conditions. All of our major roadways and highways are about to be rather slick and wet. So I think it's one of those Sunday afternoons just to stay indoors and not have to worry about the rainfall or just the slick roadways, because as we all know, Houston, accidents tend to happen as we go into these wet, rainy days across the city. So rainfall moving through. About 2.5 inches of rain has fallen in northern Harris County. But like I said, if we get closer to about 3-4 inches of rain, that's when we have to start worrying about the possible for ponding on roadways and some minor flood concerns across our area roadways. So just rainy conditions. No lightning is associated with these downpours that are moving through. Just nuisance rain that's currently falling in and across the area. And this is all associated with a cold front that is currently draped over the southern half of the state. That is going to be bringing some drier air in place as that front continues moving further south. Eventually, we're in for some dry air, a break from the humidity. Dew points going from the 70s to the 50s as we head into tomorrow morning. That in turn is going to bring us some cooler morning temperatures, especially as we head into Monday morning. So that's some good news in terms of feeling a little bit like fall in terms of walking out the door in the morning hours. But our afternoon temps are still going to be in the 90s. But we are going to be in for a good and quiet stretch of weather after today, especially starting for tomorrow. Also, the tropics are looking mostly quiet. No activity expected in the tropics for the next 7 days. We were tracking a tropical wave that was over the Atlantic. That has fizzled out. It's no longer a concern. National Hurricane Center is not even recognizing that system, and the reason being is because we have a lot of Saharan dust currently over the Atlantic, and that it really does a great job at just limiting tropical development across the Atlantic basin. So rainy and rather just messy conditions expected from this point forward across Houston as we head into the early hours of our afternoon. So definitely be cautious if you do find yourself driving in these conditions. Give us enough space between yourself and the cars in front of you, as well as just give yourself enough time getting to your destination as we go into our Sunday. This is going to be the last day that we're going to be looking at rainy conditions, and then we're going to be smooth sailing for much of this week as we're going to see abundant sunshine, slightly cooler morning temperatures. Highs are still going to be in the 90s, but we're going to get a much needed break from the humidity, especially as we head into the start of our work week, and lots of sunshine expected to last at least to the start of next weekend. So this is our weather update for us here across Southeast Texas as we head into the 12 o'clock hour for our Sunday. So definitely be safe out there in terms of the wet roadways, and we will be here providing you updates as need be going into the afternoon, especially if this rain does start moving into that 3 to 4 inch range. And I don't think we're going to see that, but we will provide you updates if so. Make sure to have the KHOU 11 app on standby and those notifications on. We'll be giving you updates throughout the day. I'm meteorologist Ramirez with your weather update.